Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast, episode 100.
Welcome to the Out of Order Podcast, your window into the firearms community, exploring those shaping the future of our rights and protecting our lifestyle, laws, legal cases, activism, and self-defense in a candid and honest podcast for our brothers and sisters in arms. Here's your host, James Kalita.
Thanks for tuning in to episode 100 of the Out of Order Gun Rights Podcast. Show notes page for today's episode is outoforderjameskalita.com/100. Today's sponsor, giftforgunnuts.com. Gift for Gun Nuts, where you get great gift ideas for the hunting and shooting sports enthusiast on your holiday shopping list. Giftforgunnuts.com. Daily updates, so head over there and check those guys out. I can't believe we made it to 100 episodes, and today's guest is Dan Ingram from New Jersey Concealment Furniture. And now, here's Dan. All right, so we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Dan Ingram, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So, Dan, you started New Jersey Concealment Furniture. Would you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, we started about 5 or 6 years ago. Kind of a off a whim. Business started by accident.
All right.
We made one piece and everybody loved it, and we just kind of kept going from there.
Nice. What was the first piece?
We made a nightstand.
Nightstand. All right. And what was the inspiration there?
It was actually from being on all the gun forums and the constant debate coming up from people with, do you stick your gun under your pillow or in your nightstand, or do you put it in a safe where you can't get to it? And I was kind of trying to find that somewhere in the middle spot where it's accessible, but your kids aren't going to get to it.
Gotcha. So you made a nightstand that was big enough to hide a handgun.
Yeah.
Excellent. Cool. So what are some other designs that you guys have put together?
Our most popular is our corner hutch, which a lot of people have seen online. Then our coffee tables and our blanket chests and coat racks, pretty much a little bit of everything.
Cool. So what's been the biggest challenge so far?
Pretty much just keeping inventory.
Nice. It's a good problem to have. Yeah.
Our shop is 2 of us, so we're constantly busy. And
excellent. And so all of this stuff is handmade furniture, right? So I guess maybe tell people what were you doing before you started building concealment furniture?
Yeah, well, my background is mainly kitchens and bathrooms. My father had a kitchen place for 45, 50 years. So I was in the shop when I was 2 or 3 years old, because my mom also worked for him. So that's where my playpen was. And we used to do a lot of built-in work, a lot of entertainment centers, bars, kitchens, bathrooms, and it's just kind of spawned off from that.
Excellent. Cool. And then so you were making custom cabinets for years and years, and one day you just had the bright idea, there's all this dead space in furniture, I may as well hide some guns in it.
Pretty much.
All right. So you were featured on How It's Made, right?
Yeah, the upcoming season will be on How It's Made.
Oh, excellent. All right. So what was it like being filmed for that?
Interesting. Very, very long day.
Oh, okay.
It was a very enlightening procedure.
All right.
Everything was filmed 4 or 5 times, and everything from the camera being 2 or 3 inches away from your hands to on the other side of the room.
Wow.
Filming. So.
Yeah. How many people did they have here?
They had a crew of, I think it was 5 guys.
Oh, wow. All right. Well, yeah, that's not...
So.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah. And then you also had a piece featured in the Death Wish movie?
Yes.
Oh.
The newer Death Wish movie with Bruce Willis. They called us and ordered actually probably 10 or 12 pieces. They wound up using the coffee table in the movie. And apparently in the scene in the store, there's a couple other pieces that are hanging on the wall in the store.
Oh, okay.
As well.
Okay. Nice.
But the coffee table's got a pretty good spot right at the end of the movie.
Okay. Nice cameo.
So, yeah.
Yep. So, has anyone else approached you for props yet?
Not for props or anything.
Okay.
Both of those were, I got emails on both of those, and both of them it was kind of like, all right, this is some kind of scam.
Yeah.
So I sent a generic response back saying,
sure.
if you want, you can give me a call and we can talk further.
Yeah.
And both times my phone rang within 30 seconds of hitting send on the email.
Oh, all
so
right.
it was
Nice.
kind of a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
So
I tried that with the prince from Africa and it didn't work. So let's see what else has been going on for you guys? You guys do the Oaks gun shows, right?
hey, we're usually at all the major Oaks gun shows.
Okay.
We missed the October show. We'll be back there in December.
All right. And how else can people find you?
You can find us on njconceal.com. You can also find all our wooden flags on, if you look on Etsy under New Jersey Concealment.
Okay.
We're on there.
All right.
You can email us at sales@njconceal.co.
Okay.
So,
And so where do you keep finding the ideas? Because a lot of this stuff is just, I wouldn't have thought there was space there. So
insomnia.
So,
It just things just pop into my head, and Ben will tell you I'll just be working on something, and all of a sudden I'll stop and I'll just go work on something else and say, "What do you think of this?"
Nice.
And that's how the next project starts.
okay.
So, kind of usually just inspiration out of the blue.
Okay.
So.
Great. All right. And let's see what else. Or something else I know I was going to ask you about that I remember from when you first started this. Now I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh, so you just recently did a whole bunch of church refinishing. So how'd you church pew refinishing? How'd you manage to get into that end of the work?
It was actually through Dave Rosenthal.
Oh, of course,
From
yeah.
CNJFO.
Yep.
It was a friend of his that was working on the church project.
Okay.
Kind of putting all their work together.
All right.
And they had somebody come in to refinish the church pews, and they destroyed them.
Oh no.
So they called us up to see if we could refinish them for the second time, and we're just about finished up with that project. But
All right. And so, in addition to what they see on their website, you can also do custom stuff for people, right?
yeah, we do a lot of custom work. The custom work you won't see pictures of on Facebook and Instagram.
Right.
We've done a lot of wine racks.
Okay.
And bar cabinets, stuff like that. If somebody's interested in a piece, sometimes I'll email them a picture to,
Okay.
or show them the pictures to see, but you won't see them posted on social media. And usually the pictures I'll send them are usually all closed up, so
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
just to give them an idea on style.
Okay. Any like really crazy stuff that you can tell us about?
We recently did a large bookcase that was actually kind of odd because it's the whole front of the bookcase is all for displaying guns.
Oh. Okay. It's kind of the opposite of what you're used to.
But then it all opens up to hide the guns that are worth money behind it.
Oh, nice.
What's hanging in the
Excellent.
front is all
Decoys.
It's all wall hangers.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
All turn of the century, single shot.
Yep.
Stuff that couldn't be fired if you wanted to.
Gotcha. All right. Oh, that's an excellent strategy there. Oh.
Yeah.
And you've also volunteered for Team Rubicon.
Yes.
What was that like?
It's a phenomenal experience. The organization is you as soon as you get there, you feel like your family, and the people that you're helping, the appreciation is unbelievable. I wish I could be down in North Carolina right now.
Yeah. So what kind of things? I'm not sure if people understand like what happens after the hurricane, but what kind of things did you find yourself working on while you were down there?
Well, I was down in Texas after Harvey and down in Baltimore earlier this spring. Both of those times were doing a lot of muck-outs, tearing out sheetrock and flooring and taking all the waterlogged stuff and bringing it out to the curb and getting rid of the garbage and cleaning the places up. And then in the January, I was back down in Houston for their rebuild. They're in the process of putting 100 houses back together for people to move back into.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is a huge undertaking.
Right. Yeah.
I think they've got, it's 14 or 15 houses done so far.
Nice. So you went down there the first time, cleared everything out, and then they go back in and reinstall wires and plumbing, whatever.
The rebuild in Houston is their pilot program. Mm-hmm. Now they just started. They're gearing up their one for in Florida from the hurricanes down there last year, and they're also in the middle of one for Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
The Puerto Rico one they're doing a little differently. They're actually hiring people out to come in and do the work.
Okay.
Rather than having volunteers come in.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I forget what the count was. It's somewhere around 100 roofs that they've gotten put on down in Puerto Rico so far.
Nice.
So.
Excellent.
Most of these people, they don't have the means to.
Right.
To do it.
To do it. Yeah.
A lot of times they're hard hit communities to start with.
Okay. Yeah.
The stories you hear about what the insurance is covering and what FEMA is giving out is unbelievable.
Gotcha.
And you understand why all of a sudden, they've got $3,000 between insurance and FEMA, and they've got $100,000 worth of damage to their home.
Right. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's incredible. And the timeline, too, because the hurricane in Texas was like 14, 15 months ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so those people have been out of their homes for that whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people staying in hotels or family members' houses, stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible.
It's a great organization. And they, as soon as you walk in, as soon as you get there, everybody treats you like your family.
Right.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah. And thinking about family too, you also make, in addition to the furniture, you have the flags that you've started making recently.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about those.
We do a whole variety of flags. Stained ones, hand painted ones, and then we do subdued flags. But all different military logos on them. We do a lot of custom police ones with different badges or patches for the police departments. They've been doing very well.
Yeah.
And shipping them all over the country.
Yeah, it's a very nice thing for people that want something personal that family member can relate to. It's a really great gift.
And we get a lot of them that we do custom engraving on.
Okay.
With especially like the military ones with the their units on them, their names, their
Nice.
the police ones a lot of times their badge numbers and their names on them.
Yeah.
So
Excellent.
nice custom piece for the
holidays.
personal gift for the holidays.
Yeah, yeah. And you've also, I guess, one of the first things you put together was the memorial flag cases.
Yes.
Yeah. And those, you've made those with a spot to conceal firearms.
Yeah. Yeah. We've made a lot of those over the years.
Oh, cool.
They're a popular item.
Well, I always ask my guests if there are any books they recommend that all gun owners should read. History, politics, firearms. Any come to mind?
Not off the top of my head.
Yeah, all right.
I'm not a big reader.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So, at this point, people might be wondering, firearms and New Jersey, and what's it like owning a gun business in this state? Even though you don't have an FFL and you're not selling guns, how's the state been?
It's actually been it's been fine now. When I first started up, when I first got the truck lettered up, every time I passed a cop in a 30-mile radius here, I would get followed for a couple miles.
Oh, okay.
When they saw the sign on the back of the truck, nobody ever bothered me. Of course, the Division of Taxation was trying to give me a hard time when we first started.
Oh, wow.
Claiming that we were in business for 4 or 5 years before
Where
we
you
actually were.
Oh, okay.
And that we weren't charging sales tax for.
Oh, wow.
So
that's fun.
It was a bit of a battle between my accountant and the Division of Taxation.
I'm sure. Yeah.
With them trying to prove that we started before we did.
Okay.
But ever since we first started, it's been pretty good.
Cool.
No problems.
Good. Well, I thank you very much for being on the show. Any parting words for our listeners?
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
You can visit us at njconcealed.com.
Okay.
And you can email us through the website if you have any custom requests, or you can also find us on Instagram or Facebook.
Facebook. Yeah, you got 250,000 followers on Facebook?
Yeah, somewhere around
there. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, look forward to talking to you again soon.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks again for tuning in to episode 100 of the Out of Order Gun Rights podcast. Show notes page for today's episode is outoforderjameskalita.com/100. And please head over to the show notes page. Check out links at New Jersey Concealment Furniture and Out of Order James Kalita. We'll see you next time.